Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you're healthy and your family's healthy. I hope that this online instruction or format is working out for you. So please notify me if something's not working or if there's something that I can do to help you with these weird times. Anyway, so we're still in Chapter 7, still working with those marine animals that are lacking a backbone. And so the last time we were looking at the crustaceans and the arthropods. And so today we're going to be working with some organisms that you're going to feel probably more familiar with. And so today's lecture is on the echinoderms. And so echinoderms, you would recognize these. Let me just jump forward because these are going to be the starfish or sea stars as you're familiar with. And if you look at the sea star, you can see that, there's some internal structures here that we're going to try to learn. And so we're working with this group right here, and that will include the sea stars. It's going to include feather stars. It also includes sand dollars and sea urchins, and also, believe it or not, it includes the sea cucumbers, or sea slugs, as some people might refer to them, but the sea cucumbers. So these are all types of echinoderms, and these are some organisms that you would probably be more familiar with because they're usually in touch ponds and stuff if you go to any of the aquariums. So I've got some notes for you to take, and then some coloring sheets. So again, if you do the coloring sheets and you concentrate on the information that's in the textbook, the information that's on your coloring sheet, and those instructions, then I think you're going to be just fine. So echinoderms. Here are their basic characteristics. So they are considered to be pentamerous, and that's because they have based on 5 parts. So they're pentamerous symmetry in them. Their larval stages are bilaterally symmetry, but here we're going to see 5 parts, and that's what penta means. It's scientific numbering system, and that's 5. So what you'll see is that all of them have a water vascular system with tube feet for locomotion and feeding. So their tube feet are going to move them across, the substrate. So if they're on the bottom of the ocean or if they're on rocks, their tube feet are necessary for locomotion. But their tube feet can also move the food particles towards their mouth parts. And they use water for being able to control all of this. So they have what's called a water vascular system, and that's something that you'll want to take a look at in your drawings. They have gills for respiration, so skin gills. And their nervous system is decentralized, so they do not have a brain here. And they have an endoskeleton. So the skeleton, instead of being exoskeleton like what you saw in the arthropods, the echinoderms, they have an endoskeleton. So they're going to have skin around their skeleton. Many can easily regenerate lost body parts, and some will even ditch their body parts. If they're under attack, they'll literally drop them off in a process that's called autotomy. They will drop it off, and then they'll just regenerate it. And some can regenerate an entire body, even if all that's left behind is one of their arms or rays. There are 7,000 species, all of which are exclusively marine. So there's no equivalent freshwater species of these guys. Okay, so the first group that we'll get into is in a class called Asteroideae. That's your typical sea star, and so if you're looking at your coloring sheet, I'm looking at the coloring sheet that's just titled Sea Star Structure. And when you're looking at your echinoderms, then there are two surfaces to them. There's the aboral surface, which is the top surface, and then they've got the oral surface. So if you flip them over, you will see the oral surface. And the oral surface is just as its name would supply, or would suggest, just as its name would suggest, that's where you're going to find the mouth. It's also where you're going to find the tube feet, because again, those tube feet are going to move that food source into the mouth. But so they have these two different surfaces to them. And so notice the tube feet, which are on the oral surface, they have a central disc. So if you look at the aboral surface, then you'll see that there's a central disc there of 5, where 5 sides to it, and there are 5 arms or rays on these on this central disc. With the sea star, the internal organs extend through the entire body, and so you'll see some of that. I've included a video, a really good video that just covers all of the echinoderms in this module. And then I've also included a video, it's probably for a high school biology course, but it's pretty cool because the instructor is doing a sea star dissection. So take a look at that, even though it seems a little hokey and stuff, it's pretty cool because that's basically what we would be doing, is doing a sea star dissection and taking a look at those internal features, and that'll allow for you to see the water vascular system that they have inside of them. You can see the ring canal. So really some cool things about the sea star that really I think that dissection does a nice job with. But they also have calcium carbonate plates that are loosely embedded in spiny skin, making them slightly flexible. So they can move, and on your coloring sheet, it shows you up at the top right-hand corner, it shows you a sea star that has, basically wrapped itself around a muscle. And those 2 feet are really strong, and it will pull that muscle open. They have a really strange digestion system where they will literally take their stomach and they will throw it up into the muscle or into what it is that they're going to eat. And the digestive juices from their stomach will start the digestion of the material that they want, and then they bring it all back inside their body, and that's basically how they eat. It's pretty interesting, and I think the video shows that as well. They have peticillariae, which are pincer-like organs that are on their surface that keep their skin clean, and most of the sea stars are carnivorous. So they're eating, they're hunting, and they're eating, and you'll see that in the videos that have been posted. So again, here's their basic structure, and so both internal and external structure. So 5 rays, you can see the 5 rays. One thing to take a look at is see the madreporite. So the madreporite, which is on the aboral surface of the sea star, is where water is going to come in. And so they're bringing water in, and the water moves from the madreporite to the stone canal. So there's this tiny little canal on that madreporite right here, this canal right here, that then leads down to this ring canal. And the ring canal, which goes all the way around the arms, also then extends out to what's called a radial canal. And the radial canal then extends out to these ampullae. And these ampullae are basically the like water balloons, and they fill with water, and if they move that water from the ampullae to the tube feet down here, they can move their tube feet right there. So it's a water system, water vascular system, where water's coming in through the madreporite, through the canal, through the ring canal, out to the radial canal, to the ampullae, to the feet, and that's how they're moving. So they're using water pressure and controlling that so that they can actually move. And they're very quick, surprisingly fast in their ability to move. If you look internally, here is all of their digestive system. So that digestive system comes out through the mouth. When they find their prey, they then start the digestion, pull it back in, and then that digestive tissue extends out through the rays as well. And then notice they also have reproductive structures. So here are their gonads, are also located inside those rays. So kind of, nice little simplified yet kind of cool structures. And then here's the pedicellariae, which are there for keeping their surface clean. Okay, so on your next color sheet are the brittle stars. So both the brittle stars and the feather stars are on the same color sheet. And so brittle stars are in their own class. And the reason why they're different than the sea stars that we just covered is because they've got flexible arms. And so they still have that central disc. And if you look at it, there's 5 sides to the disc. There are 5 arms, so we've still got that pentaradial symmetry going on. But their arms are flexible. And their arms consist of ossicles. So here are their ossicles. And their ossicles can move. And their internal organs, however, do not extend down into those arms in the same way that we just saw in the sea stars. So their internal organs are all restricted to the central disc, where now their arms are really just used for locomotion. They have 2 feet, but they don't have any suckers. And those they're used for feeding on detritus, so dead, broken down material, and small animals. And these guys have no anus, so material just goes in. And those are the brittle stars. And again, they're highlighted in the video as well. I think the number of them and watching them run, basically move away from the the larger sea star, is just amazing. Okay, so I'm just about out of time with this one particular video, so then we will move on with our next video.